Well, hello, spicy reefers. You know what time it is. And I hope you brought a bucket or a barrel load of sand because I have the big scoop. Here's the big scoop. I got so excited, sand came in, the aquarium sale was happening, and my live rock was in a bucket sitting there for the last month, and I just started putting it all together. Let's talk a little bit about what I'm doing here. I've got sand that came, it's arrived. It's the Carib Sea Arug Alive. The Arug Alive is the stuff that comes with the beneficial bacteria already in it. It comes in a bag, and the bag is wet, supposedly with all this ocean water. And yeah, so I put it in here. I've had these, this live rock laying around the yard and on whatnot. I've had half of it in with the freshwater tank, and I decided to put all of it in a bucket when my discus were acting up and getting all bully on each other, because one of them kept bullying the other ones and forcing them into the rocks and wouldn't let them eat. Anyway, so I pulled the live rock out, or the freshwater live rock out, and I put it in a salt bucket, what they call cook the rock, I think is what they call it. Anyway, I had it all sitting in a bucket, and I've had it going for, I think, the last 4 weeks anyway. And I've been dosing it. What have I dosed it with? I dosed it with ammonium chloride. I've been dosing it with Purple Up. And I've been dosing it with Live Rock Enhance, which I've got downstairs, and I'll show you a picture of it right here. The magic. I'm going to go ahead and get that started right away. All I do is grab some water, and then you're supposed to put 1 scoop every day. Supposed to keep it in the refrigerator, which is downstairs. Alright, 1 scoop. It's a live bacteria that's dried out. Get that started. It's kind of like yeast. The look of it is kind of like yeast. I don't know if you can see that. There, whoa, there we go. I don't know if you've ever stirred up yeast before, but that's kind of what it looks like. Get that going in there. If I just toss it in the tank, it'd be fine if I had some really strong pumps in there, or wave makers and whatnot, and it would get blown all over the place. I don't have that, so it's probably going to end up getting stuck in the rock, and who knows if it'll actually dissolve completely. So that's why I premix it. While I'm doing that, grab me some ammonia chloride. Got a little spoon down here. I just kind of guesstimate how much would a fish pee in the tank and poop. Now that one I just throw right in there. Gets sucked up in the skimmer probably pretty quickly. So now the Purple Up doesn't just create the coralline all on its own. What it does is it cultivates coralline that's already in the tank. So you have to add something that has coralline on it. And so I went down to the local fish store and picked up a couple of shells they were willing to cough up, and so they're buried in the rocks now. But anyway, this will get her going. I'm going to stand up to do this. And I just put a spoonful of this every day. Well, we'll call it 2 spoonfuls. Look at that. Nice. Develop our coralline. Alright, let's see how our little batch of Live Rock Enhance is doing here. Looking pretty good. There's no big giant clumps lying about. And so now what I'm going to do actually is turn the skimmer off, because I don't want this stuff ending up mostly in the sponge or the floss that I have as at the top of that. We'll watch it go in there. So I just kind of let her mix. Put the whole cup in there. You can see it getting everywhere. Live Rock Enhance. Look at that. Here's the power of the little pump I'll show. How it's blasting those bubbles. So it's got a little action going. Kind of looks like my live rock is starting to come through a little bit, so I'm getting kind of excited. That was when it was in the bucket, but now I've got it in a tank. I've got the live sand. I've got the light action going. The one thing that I didn't catch on video, probably doesn't really matter too much to catch it on video, was when I first put the salt in, it was kind of cloudy, you know, and after about an hour it just kind of mixes in and it clears up. And then the other thing was when you put the sand in. Now the sand, when you put the sand in, the water gets really cloudy and it doesn't want to clear up. So Carib Sea puts in that wet bag a little pouch of magic sauce, and you squeeze it in the water, and within 24 hours it's all clear. You can see it's clear. I think there's a bunch of bubbles on the inside, and so it doesn't look super clear, but it is. When I do the main tank, I'm going to try not adding that little pouch and see what happens, and within 24 hours, and then if it doesn't clear up, I'll pop the pouch in. I'm not sure what's in that stuff. I should look it up, eh? Anyway, here's a picture of what it looked like cloudy. Let's take a quick little tour of this setup. I've got the little temperature thermometer inside there, woo, wiggling around. I've got a heater in the back. I've got a bubbler, sponge bubbler. I know reef people don't like that so much because they're nitrate factories, but it's gonna work for this. I have a skimmer. It's just a surface skimmer. It's not the skimmer that we're used to in the reefing hobby where it's bubbling and taking all the nitrates out of the water and whatnot. I love these skimmers. I use them on my freshwater tanks. So you can see the spray arm back there. Here, let's zoom in on that. Has all those little nozzles on it. And that's where the water comes out. And the water gets sucked in. There's a pump on the bottom of it, you see down here. And there's the filter. You can see it's got a lot of stuff up on top, junk. And basically what happens is, once the pump starts going, it starts sucking the water down from the top. And this little floaty deal holds air inside here, this little chamber. And so the strength of the pump pulls it just below the water line, and so then all the water flows over like a waterfall into that little hole, gets sucked through the sponge, and then gets spit out on the other side there. And you see the tube comes out the side, and then it's got a little arm that's bent over, and that's all that is. And this little thing is kind of almost the only filter you really need. If you wanted to put some biomedia, you could put that in here, make that little filter, like cut it in half and put it up high and put the biomedia right below it, and that'd probably be pretty good for a little nano tank. That'd be all you need. Although sponge filter, I gotta say, those things are amazing. That's all I have in the discus tank downstairs. I had one for the first 6 months, one of the large ones, but then I thought it was kind of stocked pretty heavily, so I ended up just adding a second one just because I like the look of one on each side. Alright, so you see how it's going to stay cloudy. It'll stay cloudy like that all day. And that's probably why you can't have fish in here when you're doing it. Although it doesn't say anywhere in the directions, don't add this to an active fish tank. But there you go. We're going to start testing the water probably next week. That's when the test kit comes, and we'll see how out of control I am with ammonia, if I have any nitrate. The big question I have is this rock, if I can turn it to live rock, when I put it in the other tank, Is it going to jumpstart all the dry rock that I have in there, or that I'm going to have in there? And the other thing I've got coming on order is another, I think 35 pounds is just a small little order of real live rock that's going to have stuff growing on it, including all kinds of who knows what, maybe aptasia, we're going to find out. But if I get it going in here and I boost this rock, and I don't know, it's going to be like another month or two before I'm even ready on that other tank, because I've got so much other work to do. If I pop that in with another 90 pounds of dead rock, of dry rock they call it, is this rock going to boost the dry rock? Part of it we're going to find out. You know, put down in the comments below what your experiences are, because I've been on the forums, I've been investigating all over the internet, and I cannot find it. Probably just a problem with me, not the internet. The information is out there somewhere, right? Someone has done this. Put it down in the comments. Let me know if you've taken a handful of live rock and put it in with some dry rock and made it dry rock turn into live rock sooner than if you had just put the dry rock by itself. And did you run into any of the cycling problems with the dry rock, or did the live rock actually boost that? I'd be very curious. We're going to find out a little bit, even though, you know, I've had this rock going for a month. The live rock is, I think it's coming next week. We're going to pop it in here. We're going to see, but that's like way down the line. Like it might be another month or two before this rock even gets going. But we're going to find out. We're going to maybe put a little damsel in here or something. And ultimately, this is going to be one of my hospital tanks, and that'll be for some future video. Future video? Past. Future? Yeah. That's a short little video, and I hope you got something out of it. And I'm gonna lightly swipe these bubbles. If you could go down below and swipe that like button, I'd appreciate it. Subscribe. Who knows? I might say something interesting someday. Spicy Reef here, signing off.
Now what are you doing?
I think I got it.